Welcome back to the channel. This video series is on the Pacific Ring of Fire. I've broken it down into different sections based on how the size and scale of the tectonic system. And this video is on Oceania and Southeast Asia. This is the Earth Science Classroom. Pacific Ring of Fire journey down between Antarctica and New Zealand in the Southern Ocean, whereby we have the Antarctic Pacific Ridge, which is a divergent plate boundary pushing the Pacific plate towards New Zealand and creating the South New Zealand subduction zone. Now, when you see a subduction zone, you'll see these triangles which are pointing in a certain direction. That direction is showing you which side of the convergent plate boundary is subducting. Now, in this small area of the Pacific Ring of Fire below New Zealand, the Indo-Australian plate is subducting underneath the Pacific plate. So you can infer the density difference between the two lithospheric plates. Now we carry on into a complex region over New Zealand, both the South and North Island, where you'll find the Alpine Fault, you'll find some strike-slip transform fault lines, and the New Zealand collision boundary, which includes the Maguire Fault Zone and the Tonga-Kermadec subduction zone. Then we carry on up to the New Hebrides subduction zone, where it takes a turn and you have more subduction zones between the New Caledonian Islands and the Solomon Islands. You have the Solomon Trench, and you have the New Guinea subduction zone going through towards Papua New Guinea. So in this part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, you have two major plates, the Pacific Oceanic Plate and the Indo-Australian Plate. And nestled in between these two major plates, you have multiple minor and micro plates that are on the edge of the Pacific plate, including the Kermadec microplate, the Tonga microplate, and the Niuafufu microplate. The Fiji plate, and then over to Papua New Guinea, where you have multiple very small microplates sandwiched in between the Pacific plate and the slightly larger minor plate of the Caroline plate, which are the North Bismarck plate, South Bismarck plate, Solomon Sea plate, and the Woodlark plate. Moving into Southeast Asia, the Pacific Ring of Fire continues through Papua New Guinea and onto Indonesia and contains the Sunda Trench and Java Trench, as it extends all the way through the Indian Ocean up to the Andaman Sea, up to Burma or Myanmar, and is the outline of the Sunda Plate or the Sunda Block, which is part of the larger major Eurasian Plate. And this is a convergent plate boundary between the Indo-Australian Plate and the Sunda Block. Then we have the Manus Trench, which is west of the New Guinea Trench, just north of Papua New Guinea, and north of the North Bismarck Plate, the minor plate, and with the Caroline Plate, which is part of the Pacific Plate, converging and creating a boundary with the Philippine Oceanic Plate. And to the east of this is the Philippine Trench, which goes along the coastline of the Philippines and into the Manila Trench to the north alongside west coast of Luzon. Now, between the Java Trench and Australia and the western part of Papua New Guinea, you have the Timor Trough, and on the eastern part of the Philippine Sea, the border or boundary with the Pacific Plate, we have the Mariana Trench, which is famous as the deepest part of the ocean on our planet, and that extends north to the Izo-Bonin Trench, which extends up to Japan, and then further west between Japan and Taiwan, we have the Ryukyu Trench, named after the Ryukyu Islands, which are Japanese islands, and that extends down to Taiwan, where that also meets up with the Manila Trench, just to the west and north of Luzon, which is the northernmost island of the Philippines. And this part of Southeast Asia, the Pacific Ring of Fire includes multiple major plates, which are the Pacific Plate, the Indo-Australian Plate, and the Eurasian Plate, with multiple minor plates sandwiched in between, which is the Caroline Plate, the Sunda Plate, and the Philippine Plate. Throughout Southeast Asia, we have various locations where subduction occurs between major plates and minor plates. one being the extensive subduction zone along the Indo-Australian plate, subducting underneath the Sunda plate. We have the Philippine plate, subducting under the Sunda plate. We have the Pacific plate, subducting under the Philippine plate. And we have the Indo-Australian plate, subducting under the Caroline plate. And then we have the Philippine plate further north, subducting underneath the Eurasian plate and onto the Amur plate. This is the Earth Science Classroom. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, please subscribe, like, and share. And if you want more content and videos,